ఓం శ్రీ గురుభ్యో నమః. అందరికీ నమస్కారం. See, in this video, let us examine what is the spiritual wealth in the revelations of a master. See, master said like this: we talked about self-reflection and we talked about leading a virtuous life. We also touched upon meditation and why all those things are done, and yet there is something else that is still left. See, which is very important. See, all of you have travelled to this abode, I mean this ashram, from somewhere, and in physical terms it has been a journey. That means you made a plan to book a flight, to book a train or by road, so that you did not have to walk down, and when you reached here to do that journey, you needed resources. So, you needed access to the internet and banking to book spots either for journey or accommodation here, I mean, or in the pilgrimage centers. So, to do any material journey, you will need material wealth. So, whatever the material sources required for the journey, either you have earned them or borrowed them, or you might have pestered somebody to help you. So, whatever the case may be, in the same manner, to cover your spiritual journey in life, you need spiritual wealth and spiritual resources. And as I am with any other kind of wealth, I mean, and as with any other kind of wealth, you can earn it, invest it, or you can spend it. It is up to you. It can just be wasted away also, or it can be donated, which I consider as investment. So, what is that spiritual wealth? What makes up that spiritual wealth, and how do you earn it, and how do you spend it? That is what the topic I am going to tell this day, said the master. In a survey, they asked some people, what would you do if you win a $10 million, and they wanted people to write this. This survey was done in a seminar about wealth creation. The seminar is all about building your material wealth. So, they asked, what would you do if you win that kind of money? And everybody wrote what they would do with that money. Somebody said, I would first get rid of all my debts. Somebody said, big home, long holiday, etc. So, everyone had a list of things what they would do. The speaker gone through all responses and read some of them. The speaker said, guys, did you observe that all of them are talking about spending of money, but none of you said this is where I am going to invest the money. So, investment is there on the radar of the list, but it is at the bottom of the list. At first, it is all about fulfilling outstanding dreams. It is quite something that similar happens in your spiritual journey as well, said the master. There is so much of baggage and so much of feelings, usually negative, we carry within ourselves, and that the first thing we do when we earn any spiritual wealth is we try to get rid of that debt, and then we say, okay, I am going to invest my spiritual thing, but it is already too late, my dear. As you might know, most people who win lotteries are back on the roads within the first few years, even worse off than they were earlier. So, building that spiritual wealth and maintaining that spiritual wealth is what you need. If you want to reach the pinnacle of spiritual attainment in your life. So, I would like to narrate an anecdote. There was a young boy whose grandfather was an ironsmith, and he was sitting with the grandfather, and he asked the grandfather, is everybody created equal, and are all men equal in the eyes of God? Then the grandpa said, of course, my child, there is no doubt in that. But then why? He said, someone is rich, someone is poor. If everybody is created, why is that great inequality that runs through this entire planet? He said to that little boy, go and get me an iron rod, a small piece of iron rod, my dear child. He said, how much do you think this is worth? The boy, he brought an iron rod, and the boy put it on a weighing scale and said, roughly the value is rupees 50. This is the worth of the iron bar, just $1. What the grandpa said, what if I make nails out of this piece? The boy said, let maybe it may be at least 4 times more, as much as rupees 200. And he said further, I put more effort and make little springs out of that, and watchmakers can use in watchmaking, and how much that would be? That would be at least 1000 rupees. And then grandpa said, imagine how many candies I could buy with that money for you. Grandpa said. So, that is the whole point. Your price is what you are presently, said the grandpa. Your price presently, whether material or spiritual, is what you are presently, said the master. Your value is what you can be. Your value is in your potential. Your current price is in your skill set. So, spiritually everybody is created equally, but some are ready to go through the fire, and when you go through the fire and when you put yourself through that process, then gradually and steadily your value increases. It builds more and more and more. This is how you earn spiritual wealth, my dear. But how do you spend it? Said the master. Every time you curse somebody, you deceive somebody, you cheat somebody, you make a fool of somebody, you are spending your spiritual wealth. These things will weaken you, my dear. It is like having a hole in a beautiful pot. You can fill it or keep filling it, it just it drains out. So, every such action of ours that is intended to hurt somebody basically is drilling a hole in that dirty pot, and that is one of the key reasons why people of all kinds, I mean of all people, they do all kinds of good things, but spiritually they do not experience growth really, because too much expense is happening on a daily basis. With that kind of spending, you cannot retain wealth and you cannot grow it, my dear, said the master. So, you may have gained certain focus through meditation, you might have built some energy through charity, you might have gained certain blessings by helping somebody. All of these things matter a great deal, but the moment, but the moment you use it to hurt somebody or just simply to bolster your own ego, you have just spent what you earned and you are back to square one, which means every day you work, every day you accumulate some, and at the end of a month you get paid, and then you pay off your mortgage, course repayment and other things, and maybe put in and you may also put in investment and so on, and then you are back to square one. You need one more month of working to survive in such a situation. But there is one super quality of a spiritual person. This quality is what really helps you build spiritual wealth, my dear. Then the master said like this, you know Amir Khusro, a very famous poet, his entire family and his grandfathers and forefathers and so on, they all had close connections with the royal family, and Amir Khusro believed in his guru from our perspective, and he used to call him Hazrat Nizamuddin Auliya, and the king at that time was not happy with Nizamuddin Auliya, and he was making plans to have him exiled from his state, and Amir Khusro found about it, as he had close connections with the royal family, and he got this inside information. So, the first thing Amir Khusro did was, he went to his Guru Nizamuddin Auliya and said, I have to tell you this, but there are plans being made to first capture you and make you a prisoner and then send you away, and you know the king, they can do what they please and nobody will be able to tell them, don't do this or don't do that. But I just want to tell you this, so should we make some arrangements for you, so you can go away on your own. And at this, Nizamuddin held Amir Khusro's hand. Amir Khusro is his disciple. So, he held his disciple Amir Khusro's hand and kissed it and said, Khusro, why would you take such a risk of leaking this information? You know, you could be killed for this. Then Amir Khusro said to his Guru Nizamuddin Alia like this: by telling the truth I may lose my life, but by not telling the truth, by not disclosing what I knew for the one I look up to, I would have lost my character. So, if you examine the books of all major religions of the world and all books that talk about character, almost always you will notice that your sexual conduct alone is referred to as a character. If you tell lies, we will say he is a liar. If you are lazy, we will say he is lazy. If you are not dependable, we will say he is not dependable, he is not trustworthy, and so on. But the moment you engage in sexual misconduct, and misconduct is a term that the society defines, my dear, each society, each tribe, each culture have their own rules about what they deem misconduct. The moment you engage in any kind of that promiscuous behavior, we say this is a person of loose character, which is a very narrow minded view of what character is. We have come to be taught that this term predominantly or almost entirely means your sexual misconduct or sexual conduct, or how you operate in the world with your lusty thoughts. But that is not at all is the real definition of one's character, my dear. You can be sure Amir Khusro was not talking about that character when he said to his Guru that my character would be lost if I did that. So, what is character? That is simply one aspect of it. It does not matter which area of life you are considering character. Simply put in one simple thing, and that is dependability. Are you dependable? If you are dependable, you are a person of character, said the master. Why? It is very simple. Between a husband and wife, if the husband says, yes, I will be loyal to you, if he is dependable, he is being loyal. If he is not, he will be fooling around. If he says, yes, I am not telling lies, if he is dependable, he is telling the truth. All virtues of truthfulness, loyalty and morality, all the good things you can think of from this one thing. Is that person dependable? If they are dependable, they are honest. Honesty or dependability is the seed of spirituality, my dear, said the master. When asked as to how yogurt is made from milk, it is said, we use culture, and without culture, milk will never turn into yogurt. Without the culture of this honesty, you will not be able to grow your spiritual wealth beyond any doubt. You will be earning it, but you will be spending it. That is why transparency always pays. Be transparent, said the master. If you are true, then you would be transparent. Spiritual wealth, it is a very simple thing. You just have to ask yourself, am I being dependable? Can this person count on me? And these are the kinds of stories you read from ancient times. In many texts, those men and women stood for something. They said, we will give up our lives, but we would stand by what we stand for, and that dependability will take you a long way, my dear. Because if you are dependable, you will honor your own commitments. You the commitments you make to others and also to yourself, concluded the master. So, this is all about the spiritual wealth. Thank you all.